What's up, guys? I wanted to do a video today just to kind of talk about the state of Street Fighter V, where I see the game being at right now, and some of my issues with the Season 2 patch, and why it has me a little bit bummed out about playing Street Fighter V these days. So, when Street Fighter V came out, I think everybody recognized that it had a lot of problems, right? There were features missing that they had to add in later. There were a lot of bugs. The net play was super broken for a long time. But in the end, I was kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt because at its core, I thought Street Fighter V was a really great fighting game. Just the part of the game where there's two people on screen fighting is really good. It's just all the stuff around the edges that, it seemed kind of half-assed, or it seemed like they were rushing it out the door because they didn't have enough time to make a complete game. But, as time went on, in order for me to keep giving them the benefit of the doubt, they need to be making the game better and not worse. And unfortunately, I think that the Season 2 balance changes made the game worse in a lot of ways. So to start off, the big thing that I disagreed most with from Season 2 was removing invincible dragon punches. To me, that is just a big bummer. I don't really agree with it at all. I think that invincible dragon punches are necessary as sort of an escape valve to prevent offense from ever becoming too strong. Even if they're really risky, which they are in Street Fighter V, if a dragon punch gets blocked, you might eat 50% of your life bar. But even with all that risk, people still use them, and they're still necessary because if all you can do is block and you have to guess, there's no dragon punch to get you out of guessing, offense can just become too strong. And now what you're seeing is, people are talking about characters like Laura or Balrog or Yuri, and just their offense being really hard to deal with because you don't have that third option. Take a big risk that could turn the entire match around because you get out of this huge pressure. But so that's gone, and I think it's kind of removed some of the variety from the game. Now characters who their primary game plan is to knock you down and mix you up, characters like Laura, Armika, that kind of thing, now they can kind of run the same game plan against every character. They don't have to worry about invincible dragon punches unless the character, has meter and has a reversal that uses meter. So now it's homogenized the matchups a lot, where people can do the same thing against all the characters instead of having to think about the different options that their opponent's character might have. So I think that, it removes variety, and it just kind of hurts the game to me. And that kind of ties into the other problem I had with the balance changes, which was that they primarily took things away from characters. They did not give characters new things, which, sometimes I think it is necessary to nerf characters. I think if you look at something like Street Fighter IV Arcade Edition, that's a great example of, Yun and Yang in that game were just problems. They just had tools that were too strong that the rest of the cast couldn't deal with, and they had to be nerfed. But the only character I think in Street Fighter V Season 1 that is even close to that is maybe Chun-Li. With stuff like instant air legs, I think that could have been removed and that would be fine, or otherwise nerfed. But other than that, I don't think any character in the game really has, degenerate options, things that are just too strong that the cast can't deal with. I think that Ryu in Season 1, who a lot of people would say was the best character in the game, he was kind of the platonic ideal of how a character should have been balanced. He had strong options, and he had, good ground game, good anti-airs, pretty much good everything, but he didn't have anything that was, so good that it needed to be nerfed. But Ryu got a lot of nerfs, and a lot of other characters who are a lot worse than Ryu got a lot of nerfs. I don't understand why they would nerf Fong or Alex, who are not really that great of characters. They're in the lower half of the game, but still they receive nerfs, which just makes no sense to me. And now there's characters like Urien who didn't really get nerfs, and people are saying, Urien is a problem, Urien needs nerfs, he's too strong. But I don't think that's true at all. I think that other characters should be brought up to Urien's level. Nothing he has is that crazy. So yeah, that bummed me out a lot. And, just the overall thing in general that I think has gone wrong with Season 2 is that Capcom is not communicating, which they need to do. And they've acknowledged in the past that that was one of the big problems with the game's launch, was there was just a lack of communication between Capcom and, the fans of the game. They were kind of just doing things and not explaining why, and a lot of it didn't make sense to people. And stuff like Akuma came out like a week before Christmas, and then a solid like 2+ months went by, and people had already bought the season pass for season 2, but there was just no word on when the new characters were coming, or who the new characters would be, anything like that. So there's just a huge lack of communication that is a bummer, because I want to play Street Fighter V. I want to be motivated to keep playing this game, but they're not really giving me a reason to want to keep coming back. So as you've seen, a lot of the videos I've been doing lately have been for different games, because at this point I've been just not having the urge to play Street Fighter V at all. I've been playing other stuff just because I find it more interesting. And now new games are going to be coming out, like Injustice 2 and Tekken 7, which I'm extremely excited for, and I'm just wondering if that's just going to totally remove Street Fighter V from me making any time to play it. But we'll see when that happens. Anyway, I'm not, it's not like I think the game is terrible. I just think that they're kind of squandering what little goodwill they have left from the initial launch of Street Fighter V. So anyway, I guess I'll stop rambling now. I appreciate you guys for listening to my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think, what kind of changes you think Capcom needs to make. I do know that they are releasing another balance patch kind of in response to the negative reaction that the initial Season 2 patch got. So we'll see if that changes anything for the better. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.